Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. The Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the show where we discuss the film Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, 3 minutes at a time. My name is Tom Taylor.
My name is Pete. You are alone. Mummert. And it turns out that question was existential.
Most of them are.
I'm the intern, Gerald Christopher Marcus Porter.
And today we are here to talk about, Jerry, you called me out last time saying that I was repeating the previous minute and my minute count for each episode, and I guess you're right. I want to say that this is minutes 6 through 9, but it really is 7 through 9, so let's just get that out of the way. It's 7 through 9. These minutes begin with Indy doing what he does best, punching out a Nazi and taking his car, only to find out he is now a chauffeur to a carload of Nazis. Meanwhile, Basil is interrogated on the train by Weber, who couldn't care less about the disrupted migration patterns of the wagtails, being much more interested in Basil's captured American accomplice. Indy then gets tired of being a chauffeur and veers off course to chase the train, leading to a Nazi motorcycle fracas that ends with Indy successfully boarding the train and running across its roof. And the minutes end with a punch to Basil's soft buttercream face as Weber asks him who sent him and what was his mission.
We begin and end with a punch to the face in this minute.
That's kind of true. Yeah. That's a nice solid
That's a good description of this movie. Yeah.
Pete showing his cards.
I'm going to actually look in the mirror tomorrow morning and be like, do I have a buttercream face?
Oh, you look easy on the knuckles there, Jerry.
I'm more of like a toffee. Well, you know what? We have a ton of callbacks to Raiders, particularly Raiders, I think, in this entire sequence, certainly these 3 minutes. And as it begins, the way Indy grabs the Nazi in the car and pulls him out, that Indiana Jones has a signature I'm pulling you out of a car move.
Yeah. I'm done with you. Get out of my way.
Yeah, he did that move in Raiders, and you see it here, and you're like, oh, I recognize that. That's completely on brand. It might be, he's refined it a little bit since Raiders.
Do you think he's thinking to himself, God, this is so much easier when the car's not moving? If I'm just standing here and I've got all the ballast I need and everything, I could just yank him out. This is great.
It's interesting, though, that sucker punching someone is generally seen as not fighting fair. And it's interesting that it's not only a common Indy move, but I guess the question is it fair to fight unfairly if you're fighting unfair people?
I guess, at what point does it, there's always the thing of no, don't go down to their level. Don't become them where is that line? I want to say no, punching a Nazi to get his car to get out of there and save your friend, that's fine. But where's the line? I don't want to say.
But wait, Pete, are you going to be this existential for the whole 3 minutes?
I don't think it's going to
for the whole 3 minutes. How long is this movie? That's how long it's going to be.
Well, that is a good question. And if that were the case, Indy would be a very bad guy.
Yeah.
He's constantly. I always think about remember when he throws the sand in the face of the scrum chum?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you're like, what else is he going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is he
going to do?
He's
fighting for his life at that point.
He's fighting for his life. And he can't, what was the other, all right, the other course of action is he raps on the car window and he says, hey, listen, I know I'm wearing a Nazi uniform or whatever, but look, I need to, I really need to commandeer this car and the
Geneva
carjacking.
Convention.
Yeah. So, okay, so we see Indy dressed here as a Nazi, right? Now, we've seen him dressed as a Nazi in Raiders. With the where he pulls the shirt across his chest and it doesn't fit, and then he kind of I don't know if he punches that guy or knees that guy in the rucksuckle.
Right.
And
or he kicks him to piston his head into the air. where he can catch it. Yeah.
We see him there. Now we see him dressed as a Nazi in Last Crusade. right?
Yeah.
He like doesn't he like bumps into Adolf Hitler.
He sure does.
Yeah. So now we see him again dressed as a Nazi, but he's got the Hogan's Heroes helmet.
I have to say, I don't like the Hogan's Heroes helmet. I don't know if I don't. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I'm not supposed to like it. That's the bad guys. But seeing Indy with it looks a little goofy, like goofier than I want it to. Like in Raiders,
That's not
he had the
necessarily
cool
how
cap.
the helmet looked. Yeah, it's just that guy evidently had a much smaller head.
I guess, yeah, it looks small. It looks small and weird on his head.
Because it doesn't look small and weird on everybody. I think it's
Right.
yeah.
It's a weird. He wears it for like the next 5 or 10 minutes, and it's awkward. I don't like
You
it.
mean it looks great on Schultz?
Yeah, Schultz could pull it off.
Schultz can pull. No, I know what you mean. The reason I noticed it is I see Indy, and you're like, all right, we see Indy in different Nazi uniforms, whatever. He's behind enemy lines, makes sense. And you're like, but I agree with you, Tommy. When you see him in the Hogan's Heroes helmet, you're like, God, he looks really weird. He might look the weirdest he's ever looked.
Yeah.
I agree completely. This is the weirdest he's ever looked, unless it's that one shot when they zoom into on his face in The Last Crusade when he's about to go over the cliff in the on top of the tank. He looks super weird in that one shot. But other than that, yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't
quite
either.
understand either though, because those helmets had a leather liner inside that was smaller than the helmet. So, and the other guy doesn't seem to take up the whole helmet like that. So it's a funny directorial choice.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, but if you were sitting there directing this, you'd be like, all right, we've seen Indy in different Nazi uniforms. Let's get something a little different. A little bit of
Yeah.
motion in our movie, so it's like it's not that time, it's this time.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody would say, have any of you guys ever watched Hogan's Heroes? And then somebody would say, go to the Hogan's Heroes prop
Yeah.
closet.
That is what it looks like. I mean, I know like the gag in Raiders is that he does
It's the too small uniform.
Yeah, it's the cliche of like the thing immediately fits, but they make a
Yeah.
gag out of it, and it's awesome. And
Yeah.
here it's just like, oh, I guess that guy's head was smaller than Indy's, and it looks stupid. And we have to look at our hero looking goofy for the next few minutes.
Oh, so Indy gets in the car and a couple of bigwig SS officers get in and tell him to get going, and the motorcycle behind him flashes his light, like tells him to get a move on.
Yeah.
And then we get Basil Shaw shoved into a seat on the train.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so what do you like the fact that Indy is all of a sudden the chauffeur? It's like a little plot twist.
It makes sense. It's an Indy-like
Yeah.
situation. He's trying to infiltrate the bad guys, and he gets a little bit
Yeah.
caught and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
see, to me, this is where one of the things that hurts about this movie, I think, is it feels like a Spielberg situation, but it doesn't feel like Spielberg. It's like a Spielberg situation without the kind of the Spielberg finesse and fun that he would bring to it. So to me, it sort of falls flat. Like, I think the idea is sound, but I think it's not executed in a way that makes me
I wonder
feel
what
like
it
it's
is, though.
Indy.
I wonder what the execution would like. What the difference is, like how this is not being handled exactly right.
I can't figure it out because it, like, on paper, like if you looked at the storyboards, it might feel a lot like a real Indiana Jones movie.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, like, I don't know, there's something about it doesn't quite ring true.
I mean, there's still the awkwardness, and I seem to be the only one bothered by it. But there's still the awkwardness of knowing that that's a fake
Of the de-aging.
Harrison Ford of it,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched this, and I don't know. I think they did a fantastic job, except for one bizarre little minute, one bizarre few seconds, and it's when he is running on top of the train, and he jumps, and it's at the very end of this minute, and or 3 minutes, and it's very peculiar. Like,
But that's
that
probably
doesn't
not even
look
like
real at all.
That's probably not even a matter of like
Yeah.
CGI or de-aging or
Yeah.
anything. That's just like a weird stunt guy running
Yeah.
across the thing.
I don't know. No, it's like a stunt. I don't think it's a stunt guy.
Huh? It might be.
Anyway, that's as funny as it is. The de-aging and the close-ups and all the stuff. None of that bothers me nearly as much as that one shot of him running on top of the train, and he jumps between
fair.
cars. It does. It doesn't look like Indy. It just is bizarre.
Yeah.
Anyway. See, I mean, ironically, that's the part that I notice.
Yeah. I mean, he does look fine and good and sometimes perfect as the de-aged Indy, but in the back of my head, I know that I'm not really for reals getting like a Harrison Ford performance of Indiana Jones. Like there's something, constructed to it, something fabricated.
Well, see, to me,
maybe
that's
just my
carrying over to
problem.
the whole movie feels a little ersatz to me, and I still can't figure out what it is. I don't know, but to me, it's sort of like it's what people said about Star Wars, and I fought it on Star Wars, but I feel like I sort of embracing it now. So it feels a little like fan fiction.
I mean, it'd be hard to argue that it's not. Like in the same way the Star Wars sequels can be and stuff. But it shouldn't be that way just because.
No, I agree.
Yeah, but
I'm having a
it
hard
is
time
weird
getting my head around this movie for some reason.
I want to fully embrace the idea that anybody with the goods can make a good Indiana Jones movie, but it does, and I feel like I would be feeling this anyway, even if Steven Spielberg directed this. I would still have that feeling I mentioned before of like, why exactly is this movie here? Like, why did they make this movie? Exactly.
I don't have that problem, but I'm still a little exasperated that it's not Spielberg, I think.
See, I was, well, we go
I know
over this
you were happy. Yeah.
I embrace it, and and I do like this movie, essentially. But yeah, that is it's you can't just relax and watch this movie, can you? There's a little something.
Well, you probably can, but not if you're
us.
who have
You
devoted
probably
their lives
can.
to this movie, like we have to
Probably
these
can if you're
ridiculous movies.
Yeah. Why can't we just be regular, you guys? I wish I was regular.
Not enough fiber, Tom.
I guess not. I'm not going to start now.
You know what? I thought this chase scene was very Indiana Jonesy and very callback to Raiders and a lot of signature moves and a lot of. I think whoever orchestrated this, there's a lot of tip of the hat to the guy getting run over.
No, I don't.
And-
I don't
Yeah.
argue with that. I don't argue with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff. You're like, oh, whoever did this, did their homework, and I don't know. I thought that was nice.
It is funny about the guy getting run over that we're skipping over the Basil stuff a little bit, but when he's Indy and he's in a race / battle with these motorcycles, and he shoves his helmet down on the gas pedal to keep the car going, and I don't know why he does that, except until that one guy gets run over. I'm like, oh, did he do that just so that later on, like in a minute, when he knocks the guy off the bike, he'll get run over by the moving car behind them?
I think
That's like-
I think he did that so he would keep up the same the same speed as the motorcycle.
Like
If
as
he-
he's jumping out of the car?
Yeah, he has to jump out so that he's going to be able to land on the motorcycle instead of slow down.
It also screws the guys in the back seat.
It does, because they get messed up later, don't
Yeah.
they? But don't you kind of in the back of your head want to think that the guy who in Raiders shared a laugh with that Nazi and then punched him out of the truck and killed him? Wouldn't that Indiana Jones think ahead and be like, if I keep this car going and then I fight these guys and get them in front of the car, one of them will get run over and it'll be great. That's my Indiana Jones.
I think that's what he's doing. I think he's like, I survived that truck. Okay, it's
I
fine.
seem to
Yeah,
be
it's fine.
blessed.
It's like
Yeah.
10 years later.
Yeah.
And I do feel like the guy getting run over and like he does like his arms and legs both fly up in the air. That feels like the one little touch that could be Spielberg. Like that.
Sure.
That was
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And I say this every time we see these. Every time I see a motorcycle with a sidecar, I think of Batman and Robin from my youth. I
Yeah.
just have to get that in there.
Well, just that in general, you're like, okay, that's a very strong, motif or icon from Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of that stuff. I mean, I'm sure they had them everywhere in World War II, but you're like, oh no, for this movie and on brand, and it makes a
But
lot
that
of sense.
scene, that to me, that was one of the best scenes in the whole trilogy, and it had, I think, maybe my favorite piece of music from the whole trilogy, and it was extremely well executed. And this feels a little pale next to that, when we're essentially getting a similar scene.
It is the weird fine line. I think we talked about this already before, but of bringing in the familiar stuff, but also you really need to do something different.
Yeah.
It can't all just be like Nazis and running over Nazis and punching Nazis and wearing Nazi clothes. You kind of have to do something else. And I think they do,
Sure.
but yeah, I don't know. Like in these same 3 minutes, they bring out the hat and the whip, and we get the
All
little
right, well,
do-do-do.
let's
we
get
get
to
a lot more than the hat and the whip.
We do.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Pete,
But first,
you know
we
what,
get, we get the Basil's at like the colonel says, "So you are a bird watcher," and I like that Shaw has a quick answer. Like he's like, "Yeah, because the bombing, the birds are taking a different trajectory." Like, that's
Jerks.
good.
He
Mess
says,
with the
yeah, because,
wagtails.
well, so my question is, he says, yes, because of the bombing, the wagtails are
I
following.
think he just
a
says the birds in German. That's a weird.
Oh, really? Oh,
It's
interesting.
wagtails.
Dude,
yeah.
I
that's
spent
funny.
about 20 minutes looking up wagtails.
I bet you did. And then
And
you
I
started
finally-
looking at the Indiana Jones Minute stuff.
I found out that there was the gray. It's like the gray wagtail is the one that's at least sort of more commonly found in that part of the world, the British Isles and that kind of
Uh-huh.
thing. Apparently, wagtails are all over the place, but the gray wagtail is calls that part of Europe home.
Beautiful.
What I don't understand is he says. Like, at first, I was like, oh, that's a fantastic alibi, except that it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you'd almost be saying, like, oh, so you're a bat watcher.
Right.
Also,
that
seems like
you
their
know.
trajectory would be away from the plains, whereas Basil's kind of in the middle of the plains.
All
I
right.
mean, I guess he's saying, I like, what I love about his alibi here, or his excuse, is that it's so sort of esoteric, and you're kind of like, well, no one would make that up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Except that it's nighttime. That's kind of...
And that he did make it up. But yeah.
And he did.
No, it's-
Well, yeah.
But it's, yeah, I think it's a great, like, he apparently had it ready to go, but I think it's a great,
Yeah.
quick answer.
Well,
Yeah.
so, and then they don't believe him, and one of the ways they don't believe him that we know, one of the themes is what? They remove the hat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we talked about the power of hats way back, something like 28 years ago when we started this thing.
Sounds about right.
And so they remove Basil's hat, and you're like, oh, now all of a sudden he's vulnerable, and he also looks like what? A wagtail. Is there? I did have a question about that. Is there something? Is his hair all over the place and kind of like he? Is there something about him that looks bird-like that makes that scene particularly funny?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, we did say he comes from a cuckoo clock, and those have birds in them.
But it's interesting because he's been dehatted, and then immediately the colonel takes out Indy's hat out of the bag and says, "We caught your accomplice."
Yeah.
Right. His
And
hat
then-
and his whip
And his whip and the picture of Marion.
Why does he have that picture of Marion when he
I
goes
don't-
adventuring? That's really weird.
Especially because he dumped Marion and he's just been hooked up with Elsa. It's like,
That's right. Yeah, wait a minute. This is
Yeah.
like... That's
it's like,
super
well,
weird.
Elsa didn't quite work out. I guess I'm going back to my high school girlfriend.
Or do we just not see the picture that he also has of Elsa and of Willie and of Susie's cute skirt? And...
But also, the picture doesn't make sense because it's a picture of her wearing her Cairo basket chase outfit.
It's from the set of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
He's a
When did
huge
he take
Raiders
a picture
fan.
of her wearing her Cairo harem pants
Yeah.
basket chase outfit?
There was some
Does
like
it-
photo vendor guy in the street that day. They got some dates. They got a picture. They got a basket.
Does the picture say on it 35?
I can't tell what it says.
Oh,
I
does
thought
it-
maybe
oh,
I
like
couldn't
30.
see.
It kind of looks like it might say 35, like the year.
that's the number girlfriend she is.
Yeah.
That's how he knows her. He doesn't know her name. She's just 35.
I don't. So
That'd be weird if it said 35. Well, that'd be
it's
really weird because it
36,
would be.
but
Yeah, it would also be weird because what's Temple of Doom? Was that 34?
35, right?
Oh, that was 35. So yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be weird that he had a picture of her from 35.
But
with-
see, this is the thing, and I thought about this. Okay, so they put that in there to sort of let you know, I guess, that Indy's a good guy. right? He's carried a torch for Marion this entire time. That's his, clearly his bag or his valise or his big man wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, he carries a photo of Marion around just throughout life, no matter what he's doing. So it makes a lot of sense when he later runs into her.
Well, wait, what did we
married?
learn?
Are they married? Well, what are they now?
This is what I forget. This is what I can't remember. No, wait, I thought we learned in Crystal Skull that he ditched her right after Raiders, or like within a year of Raiders or something.
And so he ditched her, and he never saw her again.
Yeah.
And not only did he ditch her, like this is coming fresh off the heels of Elsa dying in the fiery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
And he didn't have like the same. I wouldn't expect him to be carrying her picture around, but
not that fresh on the heels. That was what 1938, and this is 1945.
Yeah.
So I guess it's
or
been
44, depending on who.
Or 40, yeah, depending on. But that's actually kind of a long time.
But you could, I mean, Jerry, you're right. You could read it as like, oh, like even then he knows what a big mistake he made, and he's pining for her, and that's his.
And
like,
also, you like
looked her
in
up.
his bag.
He could have just because he knows she's in. She's in the UK, right? Like she's in London, where
I guess so. Yeah.
Apparently, Indy's based because his Basil's from there, and
yeah.
Wait, right now is she married to the airman?
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Mutt was born right after.
Yeah.
Raiders.
Like a year after or something. Yeah.
Mutt's like Mutt's 8 years old now, 9 years old.
Man. That's why he's not calling. He probably got wind of that. Like, oh, well, I can still think about her, but I'm not going to call her.
That's weird that Mutt's like a 9. He could even be 10, depending on what time of year it was.
That's crazy.
Well, the point is, I guess they have it's like an iconic triptych of icons right there. Right?
Yeah.
You got the hat.
Just in case you forgot what movie you're watching.
Yeah, you got Marion, the whip, the hat. You go, nothing is more Indiana Jones than that.
Yeah.
See, I guess to me this just feels like we're retroactively changing who Indy is, because that wasn't who Indy was in the first 3 movies at all. And that changed with Crystal Skull because he was older, but now we're kind of retconning that that's who he was back when he was younger too. And I'm not really.
What do you mean who he was?
buying
Like,
it.
do you mean the Marion picture, or that he?
Yeah, the
travels
Marion
with his hat
picture.
and his whip? Okay.
No, the Marion picture, like that he was always like sort of faithful in his heart to Marion, no matter what.
Yeah.
And that doesn't feel like that was what the other movies portrayed.
It is a weird, overly complicated, tiny detail to toss in there, especially when it could go easily missed by most people.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And it wasn't really needed. It just feels like a sort of a blatant Easter egg that wasn't really.
it's
add
almost
anything.
like when she shows up at the end, they're going to need to have maybe seen that. they didn't blink at this minute, so now they remember who she was.
That's the lady from that picture.
Right. I'm
See,
putting it all
that's what,
together now.
P, you say it's an Easter egg. It's kind of a little fun thing because you're like, I didn't see that at all until I watched this.
Yeah. I don't think I did
like
either.
5 times. So I mean, in a way, I'm not that mad at it. Yes,
I'm not mad at it, but it's confusing.
It changes a lot of stuff, of course.
To me, yeah, it feels like just like Crystal Skull changed him from being like this swashbuckling kind of like shady, shadowy, right on the edge of being bad and good guy to being all-American hero. And this seems like it's doubling down on that.
It feels less like that to me than just Raiders fan button pushing.
Yeah.
Fan fiction.
Yeah. And that almost makes sense in the context of this movie, but actually doesn't for the reasons we just laid out. I will say,
yeah.
I always make fun of this kind of thing, especially in Crystal Skull. I think that was like the worst offender. Like, well, you get like a magical trill when you see his hat the first time. That made me want to throw up. But I did get I was prepared to make fun of this reveal just now because you get a little da 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 da, like just a little gentle one. And that got me. They gave me the little summer blockbuster of my youth feels.
Oh, good.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well done, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
We get a train puffing at night.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
sure.
I think it's absolutely
I like
great.
trains.
Yeah, I like
Trains are good.
trains. See, we like
Yeah.
stuff.
We're having fun. We're having
Yeah.
a great time right now. Even Indy loves trains. He wants to go. Now, why does he chase after the train? He doesn't know that Basil's on the train.
No, I think he knows
like
that the artifacts on the
all
train.
the stuff is on the train. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
He
think he
know-
cares
yeah.
about Basil at all.
Nah, poor Basil.
He knows what is it? The sword of Longinus is on the train.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're actually after, right? I mean, they kind of
Yeah.
know that there's a
Well, that's
ton
what
of
they're-
stuff, but there's
Yeah,
but that's the
it's hard
one,
to-
right?
I don't remember because I still have only seen this movie one time. But I don't remember what he's
Yeah.
after at this point. It is an interesting fake out though when he shoves that helmet onto the accelerator.
Yeah,
Because it looks like he's gonna punch the guy with the helmet. Or like he's gonna use it to
Right,
block
right,
the bullets.
yeah.
Well, he does another thing where he takes a different road, a very signature move for Indy, right? Where he kind of he's going this way and then he peels out down the wrong road. You're like, oh yeah, it's another sort of signature move or maneuver.
Mm-hmm. He's sort of trapped, but then he takes control of it.
Yeah, and then we have the two motorcycle guys looking at each other. That's very, very Chips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be watching Chips. We should make that T-shirt.
They kind of, they kind of look at each other and they go like, yeah.
Yeah. They had these things in Raiders too, didn't they? Specifically or am I conflating two different things? A motorcycle with a sidecar with a big heavy machine gun, wasn't that a thing? Or was it like more of like a Jeep with a machine gun?
They definitely had the Jeep with the machine
Yeah, I don't
gun.
remember if
Yeah.
they had
Okay.
a machine gun or not. Yeah.
I've only seen Raiders a couple of times. I don't know if
Then we get, Indy knocks the motorcycle off the road, and he kind of lets out a nice little smile.
he does.
It's very subtle. And again, that kind of, that's another Raiders move.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of he knocks a guy. Remember, there's he knocks a bunch of guys. The guys are, I think they're hanging onto the truck on the side, and he goes through the trees. Yeah, and he kind of does a little bit of a smile to himself, like,
Yeah, I'm good at this.
I'm good at this.
Knock all
Yeah,
those
and so we
Nazis
see,
off of
whoever, designed this is really paying attention. There's a lot of little subtle things like that where when Indy kills somebody, he gets a little burst of happiness.
If it's the right person under the right circumstances, yeah.
And it's great.
We're talking a lot about sort of like low-hanging Raiders fruit to reference and stuff. I do think it's a little too much when Indy's running across the top of the train like that and it's all triumphant and you get the whole Raider swell. It's a little much that there's another train with Katanga on top and he's like saluting him and stuff and all his guys are there. That's a little obvious and a little over the top and a little on the nose. Thank you, Pete. Pete's laughing. Am I the one who thought that when he's running across the thing and they're playing the thing? They're playing the Raiders March? That looks exactly like him on the top of the
does.
U-boat. Okay.
It does. It does. It does.
It does, Jerry.
For some reason I understand the fan fiction part, but I find it subtle enough to be
No, it works.
enjoyable. Yeah.
It's its own thing. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good.
But it did make me think of Katanga.
It does. It absolutely
And I'm
we
not complaining
disagree.
about thinking of Katanga. I love thinking about Katanga.
Pete,
Yeah.
what is? I mean, one thing I noticed, like when Indy leaps, between the truck and the motorcycle, and he jumps on the guy and he pushes the guy down. He pushes the one guy off and he gets run over. And you're just like, okay, explain his utter absence of fear.
Yeah.
He just does all this stuff without any hesitation. You're talking, he's driving 50, 60 miles an hour. He just leaps right thing. He jumps right on the back of a motorcycle. He's like, I got this,
He is an action hero.
Yeah, no, he is.
Though I feel like he becomes more of an action hero in each movie. Like I feel like it he becomes more of a like classic like Superman as these movies go on.
Does this chase scene feel a little James Bondy to you?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking about the truck chase, of course, in Raiders, and I'm thinking about this. I don't know. I mean, he's climbing on a truck. He climbs under a truck. He pulls some. I mean, he does a lot of. And yes, that's like to save his life. He's actually about to get killed when that happens. Whereas he's like more on the attack. I I don't know.
Well,
I think
okay,
jumping out of a moving car onto another moving vehicle, I think that's kind of standard action fare.
They have the again another shot of him. He made me think of remember when Indy's on the truck and his crotch is up against the wheel?
Yeah,
in this one,
Yeah.
he's leaning back and his
Yeah,
head,
his head. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
about to drag. And what does he say?
I don't know. Does he say, "Oh my"?
That
I
is
kinda hear,
the
"Oh,
weirdest thing. Yeah, he said he.
Oh my.
What does he say? It sounds like he goes, "Hold on."
Oh, my head.
It's
About
a
to get killed.
really strange thing.
Wait, I'm going to listen again because
Yeah,
it's super weird.
He says
It's also
something-
shot weird because you see that rock coming at him, and then there's no rock when they cut back
Yeah.
to him. It's a little strange.
I'm so curious because I remember enjoying this when I saw it in the movie, and this is now the third episode we're recording, and this whole thing is just leaving me feeling so cold, and it feels so derivative. But
So
what I think
cold.
is interesting is that we haven't had, since we're recording these before we're releasing anything, we haven't had any kind of feedback at all. So
That
I'm
is
curious.
true.
I could be completely alone in this, and we have every listener is just shrieking at the phone right now. at
I
how
feel like we'll have
horrible I am.
some. I feel it'll be interesting because I know there are people who kind of dismiss this movie, and some who
Mm-hmm.
love this movie, and some who really like. It's a whole gambit, I think, of the whole spectrum of
Yeah.
reactions to this movie.
And I'm definitely not trying to I love that people love the movie, and I love that you guys enjoyed the movie, and I'm not trying to take away anything from that. I'm just, for some reason, to me, it's leaving me pretty cold.
Okay. Well, I mean, we are in a situation where it is. They're pushing every Raiders button they can right now.
Yeah.
And just trying to draw us in, and it's I don't think it's quite its own movie just yet. So I don't know. We'll
Sure.
see. I haven't given up hope on you or your experience of the movie yet, Pete. We'll
Yeah,
see
I
what
haven't
happens.
either. I mean, yeah, we'll see. What
Well,
happens.
look, I mean, I think the existential crisis is we're now, it's 40 years later,
Mhm.
and
Oh my God! Seriously,
yeah.
40 years?
It's
Something
yeah,
like that?
right,
Probably
or
more
more.
than that.
Isn't
Maybe
it
a little
more
more
than
than
that? Yeah, it's more than
crazy.
that.
Oh man.
And
Oh,
and
boy.
we're all watching this movie, and Indiana Jones is like we already went through the old thing, and now we're at the young thing, and now it's an old thing, and it's like we I don't. That's a real existential thing. How are we reacting to all of this, and how do we feel about it? And we're not watching it as 10-year-olds anymore. And
Yeah.
we saw it as 10-year-old. We saw it as 8-year-olds, as 13-year-olds, and then as 18-year-olds, and then as whatever it was, 40-year-olds,
Yeah.
and then as 50-year-olds. It's just
But when you say that, when we saw this and we were 7 or 8, we have changed substantially in those 40 whatever years since then.
In some
And
ways.
one question I will have is, has Indy
Well,
has
yeah,
Indy been
will
able
we
to
let him
to
Will
grow
we
it
let
all?
him
Will we,
grow-
or will the filmmakers let him? I
Yeah.
feel like, to me, maybe what's ringing a little hollow and derivative is they're not letting him move on from the straight jacket they're kind of putting him in as where he was.
Well, ironically,
Well,
I think Crystal
yeah.
Skull did a pretty good job of having him be a pretty different guy.
No, I
Yeah,
agree with that.
I
I,
would
just didn't
say
like the
that.
guy they made him, but
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I think it was.
well, we.
I mean,
kinda-
can I just say that the weird thing about this movie is it's making me appreciate Crystal Skull so much more.
Now, Pete, come on. We're trying to have fun. We're all here for some analysis and some yucks, but come on.
It's kind of weird.
I'm starting to worry. As we're talking about this, I'm thinking about my reaction to another movie semi recently. I won't say how recently, so it doesn't date when we're recording these. But 7 or 8 years ago, Dune 2 came out, and it was really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. Well, okay, it's really good, and I had a good time at it. But I can't shake the feeling why is that movie here? Partly because I already know I read the book, and there's the David Lynch version, and so there's the sense of I'm going to see these scenes again, but done a little differently in a different style, and maybe that's kind of what you're I'm going to see Raiders stuff, but done differently by a different guy, decades later or something.
Yeah, but it's sort of like the guy not doing a new thing, but the guy taking up all the old stuff and putting it in a bag and shaking it up and then pulling them out in a different
Yeah.
order.
And again, that's very strong for me in this opening sequence, but I mean, that sense is strong for me, but I'm
What's
hoping,
hard-
again, that it'll loosen up.
When you ask stuff
Later on.
like, why is this movie here? What's hard is I feel like it's retro fitted or Schrodinger catted in. 'Cause
Yeah.
For instance, like if it's like no one asks, why is this movie here about Godfather 2?
Right.
But
But Godfather
Star
that's
Wars.
because
had
it's
a
great.
very
but-
compelling story to tell.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are very compelling stories you could tell in these years for Indy. I just don't. I'm not convinced that they found one.
Okay. All right. Well, did you guys notice when he goes over the bump, the motorcycle goes over the bump and he yells, it's the yell of the mirror on the Bantu wind?
Really?
It's close. I
Wow.
don't know if he kind
I
of does
believe you.
either. He kind of does that. Oh, it sounds half between that and oh, I'm gonna blow up the air grenade.
He does say, "Oh my."
He does say, "Oh my,"
no,
doesn't he?
It's
no,
really
don't
weird.
tell me that. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
You don't have to say anything when you're about to get brained with a
He
rock.
says,
on
"Oh
a speeding
my."
motorcycle.
Oh my.
Oh my!
It's
What is
really
he?
funny.
3PO. George Takei is 3PO as Harrison Ford.
He says, "Oh my."
It really sounds like it.
It really does. I'm watching Basil get punched in the face as Jerry's reacting to "Oh my." That's perfect.
It's. Do we like him bashing the guy into that palm tree? I guess not. It's like a weird. It's not a palm tree, but it's like a weird.
It might be a palm
Long
tree based
trunk.
on that other stuff we're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kinda like-
they're in the.
but it's kind of funny.
botanical garden.
It's a very well placed tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I do. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, I actually like this entire chase sequence.
It's good. It doesn't try too hard to be too tricky. It's just Indy trying to get from a car to
Yeah.
a moving train with guys trying to kill him. It's pretty straightforward, and it's okay. Yeah,
We get our first Wilhelm scream.
Yes,
it's kind of a fake Wilhelm though, isn't it?
a little bit.
It's not
I
quite
think-
the same Wilhelm. It's
Is it?
a redux or something.
I know it's okay. So what do you hear, Tommy?
I got to listen to it again. This will all be cut out. Wait a minute, because it's
Oh,
like
that's
deeper or
interesting.
something.
Really?
Yeah, it's definitely it's a redone. It's like a remade Wilhelm. It's
So
Oh.
that talk about ersatz, like the Wilhelm. The whole purpose of the Wilhelm is that it's the same Wilhelm.
Yeah.
like that's what makes it the Wilhelm.
Right,
you
just-
don't
mimicking
redo
the Wilhelm doesn't count.
It's no longer the Wilhelm.
I
That's
noticed
weird.
that it. You know what I noticed is that it's the Wilhelm scream, except they maybe like mixed and mastered it or something. It's like
Yeah,
a little.
Like
it's
they
like
put
clearer
they
and a
bird added
little
an
brighter.
elephant and a bear and a lasagna. and a-
right. Yeah. They shot a lasagna with a shotgun held by a bear. That's crazy.
It's a funny thing too, because the one guy yells "enemy planes" and then the other guy looks down.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Those Nazis are
Like-
so dumb.
But it's a nice shot when the guy yells "enemy planes" and you see the planes fly over, and then
Yeah.
like it's a nice shot with the motorcycle kind of like flipping off behind.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Wait,
it's
does
a
he yell
good-
that in German or English?
In German, I thought.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't see. I think you're hearing the
Yeah.
German and just saying it,
Yeah,
which is how languages work. But well done.
thank you.
Is it fun to see a bird watcher get punched?
No, it's right. You don't want to see a bird watcher get punched. They're gentle creatures.
No, I know, but well, you're the one who said he has a buttercream.
He's got a bit of a buttercream face. He's been eating toffees and
It has nothing to
chocolates
do
all
with the
day.
bird watching aspect. That's just the
No, he's just a
that's the face.
No.
he's a studious little Brit man.
Maybe it'd be funny if he got punched by a bird.
Oh, that would be good.
Man,
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
it's probably the end of our minute.
Oh man, that run! I'm just watching that run. That run is weird.
Yeah,
Oh,
the jump.
yeah.
The jump is. It looks. I don't think it's like fake or animated or anything.
It's,
but it does
it's,
look
It
a
looks
little
anim-
weird.
it looks like-
completely animated.
There's
You
a
know what
weird
it looks
hang
like?
to it or something.
It looks like the guys on the deck of the Titanic when they when that came out, they were like, "Oh my god, all these people are CGI. They look so real." And then you watch it, they kind of did these robot movements. Like this is kind of what he feels like.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe, yeah.
But I don't know.
I didn't catch that, but looking at it now, it does look kind of, I'll live with it.
There's a couple of strikes, musical strikes in this chase scene that sound right out of Empire.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, out of Empire?
Yeah.
Imagine that. John Williams sounding a little bit like himself every once in a while. Oh, come on. He's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
I could be watching Empire. I don't know. Do we have anything else?
If you subscribe to our Patreon, you would know we watched in very meticulous detail. Yeah.
32,
that was fun.
33 episodes of Empire Strikes Back. You should check, as Pete says, go to Indiana Jones Minute. No. What do you do? Patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. And,
or IndianaJonesMinute.com/Patreon.
Either one. It's impossible to get it wrong, so just do it either way. And join us over there, and you can get early access to these regular shows, and you can get our bonus show, Anything Goes, where, yes, we've talked about, I don't even know, Jaws, Star Wars, Close Encounters, E.T., Empire, lots of other stuff. American Graffiti, I think we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's like an entire other show that you don't even know about happening over there. You'll never be bored again. Yeah, so join us over there and do that. It'd be great. Or you could just hang out and come back over here next week. Are we done here? I think we did these, right?
Yeah.
We're done? We kind of nailed it?
We're done with every single thing.
Hot dog.
But wait a minute.
Oh, my gosh. What am I thinking?
We couldn't possibly be done.
I didn't see the
No,
telegraph
we have
machine
coming-
there. I'm sorry, Jerry.
Here comes a bird.
Here comes a bird. Let's see. This just in from Professor Christy Porter. Cacao. How old was Indy when he first swore?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He was a Boy Scout.
Yeah,
So
but
he's
he was
probably
kind of a Boy
inclined not
Scout that
to.
was like he was like a trouble scout.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the last thing he said to his dad before he left. Before he left home.
You think you didn't swear until then?
You think what did he say? Like, what did he say? What do you think the last thing he said to his dad is when he left home?
I think we all
I'm
know
going
exactly
with this
what
guy
it
Abner.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
You old man.
I'm trying to think, like something about the Holy Grail.
Yeah. Take your grail and shove it up your crescent moon.
Kiss my asps.
He's a clever kid.
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess I feel like.
Why
remember when
why
you
did she ask that in this minute specifically?
Yeah.
Because he said, "Oh my."
He kept it clean as he was about to get
Yeah,
burned
he
by a
kept
rock.
it clean. I don't think he's ever swore. I mean, what if the first time
That
he
is not
swore
true.
was
Yeah,
in
we know he
Raiders?
swore,
Yeah,
but-
and maybe
He
it was
swore
in
twice.
Raiders. He was on the band to Wind, and that was the first time he swore.
Yeah.
He's like just trying it out to see how it
He's
sounds.
just totally.
Maybe this could be a new me.
Yeah. I'm going to be that
Or
guy.
maybe,
I'm going to wear my
he
shirt
ma-
open and I'm going to cuss every once in a while.
I'm gonna reinvent myself right here on the boat.
Yeah, he finally
people know me.
constantly-
I just had sex with a girl. I can do what I want.
I can do what I want. Now I'm going to try swearing.
Katanga, got any cigars? I want to do that next.
Quick, somebody give me a beer. And I want to
full beer.
gamble.
I want a subscription to a newspaper. I'm very proud of Indy.
I could see him trying it out. When was the first time you guys started to swear? And like, it was the sort of thing where you tried it out. You're like,
Yeah, I definitely tried
I think
it
I
out.
remember exactly when I started. I was with like a bunch of other 10-minute older people, older guys, and they were all swearing. And I was like, "Oh, you can do this? Oh, this is like a thing." You can. And I tried it out. And I felt completely self-conscious, and I was immediately called out for it.
oh, really?
Yeah, just kind of like, would you quit, Tommy? You're swearing constantly now. You're just like doing it to do it. Just stop it. I'm like, all right. Fudge you
That
guys.
I remember
Attractive.
walking with my cousin we were in Denver walking like across the like it was a weekend. We were walking across the field of a playground of an elementary school, and we both were just like trying out every swear word we could think of. We were just like, but like trying to be really nonchalant and working into conversation, like we always talk that way, like to impress the other one, just to see what it sounded like.
I'm trying to remember what you a fucking squirrel. Like, what do you say?
But no, we weren't that sophisticated. Like it sounded weird, like that damning squirrel, like that.
Yeah, we'll see you at school tomorrow.
Hell you.
Oh my
Hey, did you finish that bitch in math homework? Well, now that we're on math homework,
Yeah.
time to say goodnight for another week. Thank you for listening, everybody. Next time we're going to find out who Basil's, who sent him and what his mission was, I assume, because I think he's going to spill his chocolate-covered beans all over the train car.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens next. Next time. Oh, what are you going to say, Pete?
I was gonna say his Heinz English breakfast beans, baked beans.
That sounds delicious.
Steve's candy face.
All that and more next week right here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.